Hey there, it's Jamie, and we're going to do a little bit more data cleaning because we need to get this data set in an order that we can use it with. We need to get this data set into a format that we can use it in. And a couple of those things that we need to do in this video are to average the comfort and style ratings for each model of shoes. You can see here with the model, the Alpha Bounce 3, there's either a comfort rating or a style rating, but not both. So we're going to average them. And then after that, we're going to eliminate shoes that don't have results for ratings because those we can't use in an analysis. So first things first, average comfort and average style. We're going to use the AVERAGEIF command for that. We're going to start by entering two columns to the left of columns F and G. So if you highlight two columns, then click Insert, it will insert two columns to the left. I'm going to make them a little bit larger so that I can write in them and you can see what I'm writing. I might have to make them larger still, but I'm going to type in what I'm going to call these variables: average comfort rating and average style rating. And in these columns, I'm going to place the average comfort rating by brand of shoe. By model of shoe. So we want to average, in this cell, I want the average of comfort for Alpha Bounce 3 shoes. How I ask Excel for that is by using the AVERAGEIF command, equals AVERAGEIF. Then the AVERAGEIF command asks for three things. It asks for the range. That's the range of cells that I'm going to use to know if things belong to the same group. So out of this range, I'm going to highlight this by clicking on the first cell. Then on a Mac, Command Shift down arrow, or on a PC, Control Shift down arrow. That will take us to the very bottom, the 3,425th cell. Then I'm going to hit comma, and I'm going to hit Shift up arrow to come back to the top. It'll take me to the top, but it'll put in F1 to F2, which is, I don't want F1 to F2. I'm going to delete that. But I'm back at the top, which is what I want. So this is my range. The information I want to know, the range of cells that will tell me what grouping I'm in, is in column B. And I'm going to use absolute references by hitting Command T for both the B2 and the B3425. So the criteria in this cell in row 2 is I want to know the average for the shoe model that's in its row. And then what I want averaged, which is the average range, is everything in column J. If I click on this and I try to use my Command Shift down arrow, it won't work because of all the spaces. So I'm actually going to enter it manually. I'm going to say J2 colon J3425. I'm going to close my parentheses, but before I hit enter, I want absolute references. So in that AVERAGEIF function, everything except for that single B2 is absolute referenced. And when I hit enter, it gives me 344%. Well, obviously that's not going to be right because 344% is not an answer to the average of these numbers, but 3.44 probably is. So I have to reformat that to number. Yours might not have come up with that problem, but I reformatted my number. If I wanted more decimal places, I could add them, but I don't. 2 decimal places is good enough. Now I'm going to select the cell with that average in, hover over the bottom right corner, and double click. And that's going to fill the entire column in. I'll have an error command where I have no data, and that's fine. Now we're going to do the same thing for style rating. you're welcome to enter it again, equals average if. If you want practice, that's fine. But I often, once I have a formula entered and I know that it works, I hit Control C or Command C on my Mac and Command V, and I bring it into the row that I want. If I double click, I can see that it's continuing to reference B and it's continuing to reference J. But C has moved over, right, because it is a relative reference. So I'll just drag that back into where it's supposed to go, boop, or you can change that to B2. And we don't want to average style rating. We don't want to average the comfort rating. We want to average the style rating. So I'm going to change that both J's to K's because the style ratings are in column K. Now I'm going to hit enter and I've got 3.78. So the alpha bounce rates 3.44 for comfort and 3.78 for style. People think it's slightly more stylish than it is comfortable. And now we have two new variables, average comfort and average style. The last thing that I want to do is remove observations or remove the shoes for which we don't have information on ratings. And all of those shoes will be identified now because of this divided by zero error here. To get rid of those, if you're on a PC, you'll use Find All and get them all selected. But on a Mac, I don't have that option. I have to click in my row and use Find and Select. And I want to go to any cell that has that calculation error. So here under Special, I'm going to look for a formula with an error. So I'm going to remove logicals, I'm going to remove numbers, I'm going to remove text, I'm going to hit OK, and they're all going to be highlighted throughout the whole spreadsheet. Anything in F where there's an arrow. Then I right click and I click delete, and I want to delete the entire row. On a PC, you'll do find, you'll find them all, and then you'll right click and delete the entire row. But that's our clean data sheet, right? We are ready to do analysis, at least for now, on what we have. So you'll get here for the second week. You'll have 2 tabs, and we'll be ready to go to start an analysis next week. And I think by then we're going to be ready to have some fun. So talk to you soon.